We've got a lot of great things planned for the summer 2015. And Dr. Pierce, I'll start with a quote. Dr. Pierce said, "There is no Pierce technique. There's only a system." I think I got it right. There's no Pierce technique, there's a system. I'll use any means necessary to find and correct subluxations. So I want you to kind of marinate on that, and I'll kind of bring it back up once we get through. So if you're on the council here for Pierce Club, I want you to go ahead and stand up for me. We got any council members? I think we did. So council was created a little bit over a year ago to really assist and facilitate the growth of the system here on campus. We're at a point in time where we needed some more people, and we needed a team. You know, together everyone achieves more. I think it says teamwork to make a dream work. So council was created, and if you didn't know, also a little over a year ago, Pierce Club wasn't even on campus. I think there was like 10 to 15 students meeting at the Pierce headquarters, and we didn't have an advisor. And now here we are. And it's not a fluke that all of you are here today. We had council and e-board working diligently to get all of you here. I mean, I don't know if we got a count. Did we get a count on the number in the room today? Just over 70 people? I mean, that's pretty freaking awesome. I don't know of any other club on Technique or any club on campus that's got over 70 people at their club. So you can give yourselves another round of applause for that. So next, I'd like to introduce our e-board. That's not it. We'll start off with Blake in the back. Blake, what do you do?
I'm the treasurer, so I'll be the one taking any kind of payments. For example, we got the seminar. We got about 30 of you guys that still got to pay for that, so be sure to find me today. I also sell all of our equipment. We're on a tight schedule, so I won't go through all that tonight. But come back next week, and I'll show you what all the cool stuff we got for sale, some of the equipment that we use in that specific analysis that they're going to talk about tonight.
Awesome. And then we've got the lovely Lauren Smedley.
I'm the PR, public relations, so you see me walking around taking lots of pictures. And I've also been the one on your newsfeed that's super annoying with all the social media, because that's kind of my job. I also help coordinate, as well as with my team, who's awesome. My council members are awesome. They're over there. They help make up all the flyers and also help with social media. And we also coordinate things like the end of the year party, as well as ladies' night, which we'll be getting details with later. So.
Next, we've got that ass Lindsay Church. Most amazing laugh ever.
I'm the secretary. I'm very Canadian, if anybody missed that. I'm the one that's always sending you emails. So if you're ever looking for a response, I'm going to be the one reading it, and I'm more than happy to forward it on to whoever is going to give you the best answer for it. I'm taking care of any organizational stuff, administrative stuff, and keeping these guys in line.
Next, we've got Vice President of the club, Sam Wireman.
Hello guys, I'm Sam Wireman. I handle the certification. There we go, I can talk now. Certification. Anyway, so I handle that, and I handle breakouts. So if you guys have any questions about that, I'll make an announcement later on about the requirements and stuff like that. So just come to talk to me. Love to meet all of you.
And we've got our president of the club, Randy, but I'm sure he'll do an introduction for himself a little later.
Hey guys, I'm the president. It's nice to see you all out here today, and like you said, I'm going to be talking later, so you'll get enough of me in a little bit.
And I'm the head of extracurriculars, so I kind of help organize all the events that we do outside of the club. So, yeah. And then we've got one more person that we want to thank for being here today. He's a man of many talents. He is a professor here on campus, and he happens to be our club advisor. He's a chiropractor by day and DJ by night. Dr. Andrews, let's do it up for Dr. Dr. Andrews came in clutch. We were at a point in time where we needed a faculty advisor, and he stepped up. Big time. He really helped us out. So, all right, and then we also have our advisory board. Can our advisory board stand up?
Stand up. You guys know who you are?
These people right here, if you don't know who they are the past e-board members who really helped get the ball rolling for everyone here. Like, without them, we definitely wouldn't be here. We'd probably still be off campus with like 10 people, something like that. So, all right, I'm almost done. A couple other things. We are student ambassadors for the Wounded Warrior Project. It's something I'm very excited about. As an organization, we've raised over $9,000 since September of 2014. So that's something that we plan on keep increasing. Recently, we just hosted our powerlifting competition called Live for Life. I don't know if you heard of that. But we are hosting a golf tournament, Wounded Warrior Classic, on October 30th. It's going to be right here in Marietta, City Club of Marietta Golf Course. Anyone familiar? Anyone play golf? Yeah, we got a few hands. Start nice. So if you're interested in getting on board with that, I'm head of extracurriculars. I kind of help organize that. Get with me, and we'll definitely find a spot for you. So
Andrew missed the cut at the Open, so that's right.
all right. So by a show of hands, real quick, who here is at Pierce Club for their first time? Nice. So I'm gonna ask a question. Have you ever been to a club on campus where you kind of went to club and halfway through you're just, instead of feeling inspired and excited, just kind of bored and tired? Maybe even walked out halfway through and said, "I'm going home. I'm hungry, tired." That's kind of how I felt. My first couple quarters here, I was searching for a technique. I didn't know what I wanted to do. And it wasn't until about 6 quarters ago that I found the Pierce Results System. Actually, Norris was the one who really explained it to me and got me to come to club, so I got to thank him for that. But after coming to the system, I found out that it wasn't, after all this time of me searching for a technique, it wasn't a technique that I was in search of. I was in search of a system. And I hope that kind of resonates with all of you because, if I go back to the beginning of what I talked about, Dr. Pierce said, there is no technique. There's only a system. I'll use any means necessary to find and cure subluxations. So, hopefully by the end of the day, and by the end of this quarter, you're inspired, excited, and you'll be some of the most badass chiropractors in the world. All right. So without further ado, we'll let my main man, Randy Kulig, step up to the stage. Let's give it up for the first time. Thank you.
Hit the front lights for me, please. That's perfect. All right, guys. Like Ryan said, I'm Randy. I'm the president here at Pierce Results System, and I'm just going to go over a little bit about what the Pierce Results System is all about. So before I begin, as you guys can see, this person's neck has been through some tough times, right? We can all agree on that. So before I talk about exactly what happened to this poor individual, I'm going to have to ask you guys some questions, and I just need you guys to raise some hands for me, okay? All right. So how many of you have ever been into an automobile accident? All right, quite a bit of us. How many of us have ever been injured playing sports? Okay. And how many of us have been so drunk that we've tripped over our own 2 feet, crumbled to the ground? That was more than everything else. All right. How you doing, buddy? All right. So, how many of you guys think that any or all of these accidents can cause a subluxation? I raise your hands. Everyone's hand should be up, right? So let me ask you guys this. If you believe that an accident that doesn't even put a direct impact into your vertebra can cause a subluxation, what do you think would happen if someone were to thrust a direct force into a vertebra where it didn't belong? A force so powerful that it could literally move a bone. Do you think your body can tell the difference between a car accident and a manipulation on the wrong vertebra? According to this x-ray, the answer is no. This is actually an x-ray of Lindsay, who you guys just met. Why is she changing colors? Are you embarrassed?
She's a chameleon.
Alright, so Lindsay actually has never been in one major accident her entire life. However, she's been under unspecific chiropractic care since the age of 2. The chiropractor she would go to did no type of analysis. He literally just did the same types of adjustments to her every single time. Kind of like a flying 7 adjustment, right? So as you guys can see, it didn't do any good for Lindsay. She has no lordotic curve, and she actually has some ligament damage, as you can see by the stair-stepping of the vertebra, between C3 and C6. That ligament damage is actually irreversible. Sorry, Lindsay. So I'm not telling you this story to scare any of you who might be in the same situation as Lindsay. Rather, I'm telling you guys, I'm here to inform you guys that there's a better way to practice chiropractic. A way in which you can feel confident in what you're doing is right for your patients by producing reliable, reproducible results. So welcome to the Pierce Results System. Alright, so this is Dr. Walter Vernon Pierce. He started developing the system in 1975, and he actually developed the system, continued developing the system until the day he passed away on December 20th, 1993. And even though he passed away, his work still survives and thrives for dedicated doctors throughout the country, and also with the help of the students here at Life University. See, Dr. Pierce believed that as technology advances, so should the profession. Chiropractic's not stagnant, right? Just like everything else in the world, it needs to progress and improve, right? See, progress is movement, and if you're not moving, you're dead. And if you're not moving forward, which way are you moving? Right. All right. So what is the Pierce Results System? So the Pierce Results System is a complex system of analysis which uses the most advanced tools available to our profession to analyze the spine in motion. Dr. Pierce believed that chiropractic should be compared to brain surgery. Every precaution taken and every move planned. That's why he put such an emphasis on the analysis. He believed that once you analyze the spine and find out which vertebra is subluxated, that 95% of your job's done, when the other 5% is the adjustment itself. Okay? So these are some of our Pierce principles that we go by. So specificity and objectivity is key. We believe in holding ourselves accountable by checking our work. We do this with pre-post x-rays, pre-post fluoros, and pre-post thermal scans. We'll go over this a little bit later. And then also healing takes time. Give your body time to heal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go a little bit more in depth into each of these principles, okay? You guys know that, guys? The power of specificity. So we're going to start with specificity. So chiropractic is specific or it is nothing. I think B.J. Palmer said it best, and without B.J. Palmer, chiropractic would be nothing. You guys agree?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Alright. This is a quote from Dr. Pierce. So the sloppiest adjustment in all of the world is by far the greatest adjustment. It's on the right vertebra in the right way at the right time. And the most specific adjustment in all of the world is absolutely the most harmful subluxating force if it's on the wrong vertebra in the wrong way at the wrong time. So essentially what he's saying here is it's a lot more important to know when and where to adjust as opposed to how to adjust. Does that make sense to you guys? Mm-hmm. All right. See, through years of research, Dr. Pierce found that the hardest spines to correct were the spines that received unspecific adjustments. This is why he was so adamant about being specific. Would you want to go to a dentist and have them drill every single one of your teeth to try to find which one has the cavity? No, you'd want them to carefully analyze the x-rays, find which tooth has the cavity, fill that one tooth, and get the hell out of there because nobody likes going to the dentist, right? At least I don't. All right. Principle number 2, holding yourself accountable. My favorite quote. If you do it and can't prove you did it, then you probably didn't do it at all. So when Dr. Pierce developed this system of analysis, he dared to do what many others in his profession were scared to do. which is check his work. So I think we should check our work. So we'll go ahead and continue this. So how do we check our work? Like I said before, we check our work with pre-post. If you don't check your work, how else will you know you improved? When you make an adjustment, one of three things will happen. You're either going to help the patient, you're going to hurt the patient, or you're going to do nothing. And how do you know which one of these three things you're doing unless you check your work? You don't, right? The other thing is hold yourself to a higher standard. We are all going to be doctors, and doctors make up less than 1% of the population in the country. So we need to hold ourselves to a higher standard. We all like to laugh at medical doctors because they always revert back to drugs and surgery, right? But at least medical doctors can show us pre-posts. For example, if you go to the orthopedist and break an arm, they're going to realign that bone, put the bone in a soft cast. They're going to x-ray the bone and make sure it's aligned properly, put it in a hard cast. They're going to say, this is how much time it's going to take to heal, come back after this time, right? When you come back, they're going to take an x-ray, make sure that your bone is healed properly. They're checking their work. They're also proving to you that they're doing exactly what they said they were going to do. That's a pre-post. So we believe that as chiropractors, you should hold yourself to that same standard. You want to give your patients the peace of mind that they know that what you're doing is helping to improve their health. You also give yourself the peace of mind knowing that what you did that day had a rhyme and a reason behind it. All right, third principle, healing takes time. So for me, I think this is the most important principle, and it's also the hardest one to abide by. Especially as students, it's hard for us not to over-adjust because we all want to adjust, right? That's why we came here, besides to save lives. We all want to get better at adjusting, but we just need to teach ourselves patience. See, the sixth principle in chiropractic states that there's no process that does not require time. B.J. Palmer believed that given enough time and a clear nervous system, the body could heal itself. We as chiropractors, we clear the nervous system by adjusting the subluxation, right? So adjust the segment and leave it alone for a while. Sorry, I'm thirsty. Alright, so now we're going to go into the analysis. So this is how we apply our principles, is through the analysis. So our analysis is a step-by-step process. So this is the order we go in. So we have thermal instrumentation, static x-ray, and video fluoroscopy or motion x-ray. So these are the tools we use. So I'm going to go ahead and go into each one of them. So this is thermography. This is the first step to our analysis. The first step to our analysis is to establish a basis of the patient's nervous system. So we do 3 scans on the patient and establish a pattern. So we use pattern work, and we use it with the Titron. The Titron is a dual-probe digital infrared imaging instrument that measures paraspinal thermal asymmetries. It's a tool that allows us to know what's going on with the patient neurologically. It's also the most important tool that we have that tells us when to adjust and also prevents us from over-adjusting our patients. So basically, when the patient comes in, like I said, we establish the basis of their nervous system with 3 scans. Once we get that basis, that's prior to any adjustment. So we have their listings, then we do our first adjustment. Once we do our first adjustment, we re-scan the patient, and what we're looking for is that pattern to change. If that pattern changes, that means we affected the nervous system and put their body into the parasympathetic state. So whenever they come back for their next visit, we scan them again before we do anything. And if that pattern is still changing and we don't have a consistent pattern, that means that their body's still healing from that previous adjustment, and we're not going to adjust them again. And we're going to go into more pattern work next week. Sam's actually going to go over the thermography next week, so I'm going to leave it at that. But does anyone have any questions about that? Good. All right. The second part of our analysis are our X-ray analysis. So we do take static films, and video fluoroscopy does not replace the static films. We take the static films because we want to look at the pathologies and any congenital abnormalities in the spine. We also use it to look at the overall structure. So it gives us an idea of where to look whenever we turn on the video fluoroscopy. This is an example of some of the lines that we go over in the X-ray analysis, but again, we're going to go pretty deep into the X-ray analysis in the weeks to come. So I just wanted to touch on that so we can get to what you guys all came here for. Not to listen to me. All right, so this is video fluoroscopy. That's the pelvis, and it's going to go up the spine. All right, so this is the tool that we use to study the spine in motion.
Awesome.
Yeah, we'll let you guys look at this for a second, but I actually have another one I'm going to play here in a couple slides. And I feel like if I talk, you guys aren't going to be listening. So that's just them turning their head to the left to the right. So we're looking at the A to P cervical. I'm going to show you guys another one in a minute. But basically, we're the only chiropractic system that utilizes the gold standard in motion spinal analysis, and that's video fluoroscopy. If anyone else knows of a better tool to study motion of the spine, please let me know. I'd love to learn about it. But as far as I know, this is the best we got. Okay? So like I said, in a couple slides, I'll show you guys another one and walk through it with you guys. But before I do that, I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about why it's so important to study the spine in motion. So movement is fundamental to human life. Most chiropractic analyses prefer to study the spine statically with static x-rays. We prefer to study the spine in motion. It makes sense to me to study the spine in motion because we're constantly moving. There's not really a point in time when you're 100% static, right? Even when you're sleeping, you're rolling around, moving around, your spine's moving. Even right now, a lot of you guys are probably looking down at your phones thinking, when's he going to stop talking? But I'm not going to stop talking. So. All right? So why does it make sense to study the spine statically when in fact we're not static human beings? In fact, motion is what keeps us alive. Without movement, there is no life. This is understandable on a purely biological level. If you think about it, if blood cells don't move, they can't transport oxygen to the body, right? If your lungs don't move, you can't breathe. If your heart doesn't move, you can't pump blood throughout the body. And if your spine doesn't move, you can't create the motion needed for proper joint nutrition, for activities of daily living, or for stimulation of the proprioceptive pathways needed for proper brain and body function. So in short, movement is what enables our bodies to operate in all of its complexity. Movement is even essential at the earliest developmental stages. One of our first developmental stages is when we're lying on the floor as an infant. Before we can start to crawl, you know the snake-looking ones? When they're still laying on your belly? Alright, and then they look up, right? That's one of your first stages, to look up at your mom or your dad, creating the cervical lordosis in the neck. That movement of extension helps to establish proper brain development early on in life. Another interesting study I read about movement showed that if an organism stops to move, it actually it actually digests its own nervous system. It's pretty weird, huh? So, that's it for that. All right. So what I'm going to do now is tell you a story about why it's so essential to study the spine in motion. So this is Natalie. She's back there if you didn't hear her laughing. So Natalie loves to run and she loves chiropractic. Prior to coming to chiropractic school, Natalie used to compete in marathons and she ran 5 to 10 miles a day. She's a beast. Unfortunately for Natalie, she had a rough beginning off the start line in her chiropractic career. All right. So you guys want to know? So when Natalie started school her first quarter, she started going to student clinic. Thought you guys were gonna laugh at that one. So the chiropractic intern or the student intern in the student clinic didn't take x-rays of Natalie, and he began adjusting her as if she had any type of normal spine. And as you guys can see, her spine is anything but normal, right? Right. So after she went home after her first quarter, Natalie was in the most excruciating back pain of her life. Could you imagine going home to your friends and family with the worst back pain in your life coming from chiropractic school? A school centered on spinal health? It'd be pretty hard to argue with, right? Natalie said her brother made fun of her all the time. Whatever, typical. So when Natalie came back, her second quarter, she stopped seeing that student intern and she started seeing a doctor off of campus. This doctor took x-rays of Natalie and told her that she had scoliosis that she could correct in 6 weeks. Pretty impressive. So the plan was, come 2 times a week, do spinal exercises outside of the care plan, and you can't run. You can't run because it's the worst thing for your scoliosis and your back pain. Natalie was pretty devastated that she couldn't run, but she was willing to do anything to get rid of the pain. So throughout the 6 weeks, Natalie's pain subsided slightly, but she still had pain at the end of 6 weeks. The doctor pulls her into her office and tries selling Natalie on wellness care. Natalie said, before we go any further, show me the results, bitch. That's not really what she said. Well, maybe, I don't know.
That's a lot of
I think there's liquor in there.
So Natalie wanted to see the correction on her x-ray. She wanted the doctor to prove to her that she did in fact fix her scoliosis, right? Or at least get it better. The doctor told Natalie she'll x-ray her next time she comes in. So Natalie called the doctor, emailed the doctor, no response. So Natalie gave up on that. She went back to the student clinic, not to get adjusted. She went back to the student clinic to get full body x-rays. She noticed that the curve in her spine didn't change at all. So it's pretty disappointing for Natalie, and months went by, and she ended up going to a Pierce Results System seminar. At the Pierce Results System seminar, we took static x-rays, we floored her, the whole 100 meters. See, we aimed to correct the motion in her spine, not the structure, because this is Natalie's normal structure. She was born with 6 lumbar vertebrae and a transitional segment. This is her own body's way of adapting to the congenital abnormalities that she was given at birth. We like to call this spine the perfect imperfection. All right. So after her first seminar, so after the seminar, Natalie has never felt better. She can run on a daily basis, she has no more back pain, and every time we go to a seminar, she has one of the best, if not the best moving spine, right? Every time we put her under video fluoroscopy, it's crazy. So Natalie's only a couple quarters away from graduating, and she plans to practice the Pierce Results System all the way to the finish line. That's the last one, guys. I'm not done. Thanks. All right. All right, so radiation. So one of the most common misconceptions of our video fluoroscopy is that it exposes our patients to some insurmountable amount of radiation. However, the radiation that we expose our patients to is actually quite negligible. So as you can see here, we compare the average fluoro to the average cervical x-ray, pelvic, and then a CAT scan. You guys can look at those numbers if you want. But essentially why we can expose our patients to less radiation is because we can keep the MA setting on the machine so low. So if any of you guys don't know what the MA is, it's the number of x-rays produced by the x-ray machine. And the amount of MA is directly proportional to the amount of radiation that's being exposed to the patient. So we can keep our machine setting so low. Does anyone know why we have the MA turned up as high as we can with the least amount of time when we're taking a static film? Motion, right? We don't want the image to get distorted. But with video fluoroscopy, we want the movement. We don't mind if they're moving, it's not going to distort our image, right? That's what we're looking for. We're also not looking to see any of the details on the vertebra. That's what the statics are for. So we can afford to keep it at half of an MAS. Right? So we're just looking for the gross structural movement on a video fluoroscopy. Does that make sense to you guys? This is a question that gets brought up a lot, so if you have any questions about it, you can come see me afterwards. All right, so now I'm going to show you guys a pre-fluoro and then actually a fluoro. So this is actually Dr. Pierce Sr. He made this video. So it's going to show you the pre-fluoro. I slowed it down for you guys, so it's actually, this will probably run for a little while. But what we're going to see here is we're going to see so we're looking at a lateral cervical neck, and we're seeing the spine go into flexion. Is this any of your first time seeing a video fluoroscopy? Yeah, a few of you. All right, so what we're looking at right here, you guys see that kink? There's a kink right there between C4 and C5. You'll learn more about it. It might be a little hard for you guys to see now, but so what that was, it was a C5 inflection is what we call it. Okay. And this is them going into extension, so they're bringing their head back. So you guys know this was, I think, videotaped in 1988, so the quality is a little better now. And this is also a VHS tape that I turned into a DVD, then transferred it over to my computer. All right, I don't know how I did it. This is so now you're going to actually see an adjustment under the video fluoroscopy. It's pretty cool. I'm stoked. Alright, so this is the patient laying down, so their head, there's a vertebra up there. If you look right in this area, you're going to see the hand come in. See that? See that moving right there? That's the hand. That's the innate intelligence. Wait for it. It'll come. Bam. The hammer. So now, look at that. So now we're going to see actually the post-fluoro. So now we're going to see the same person right after the adjustment going into flexion and extension again. There she is. Alright, so as you guys can see, that kink's gone now, right? This is actually probably hyperflexion. I've never seen a neck flex like that. But that's kind of what we're looking for, a smooth rolling curve whenever they're going into flexion. And then extension. Alright, we're done. Alright, so now that the analysis is complete, we can go on to the adjustment. So this is a Pierce, Zenith Pierce 230 table. It's one of the tables we use. It's probably the most expensive one. There's cheaper versions too, but this is a high-low table, so that means just the patient can get on it and it brings them down and also can bring them up. It's a full drop table. The drops actually decrease the wear and tear on the practitioner's body as well as on the patient's body. It also has a 3D circumduction headpiece. This headpiece allows us to remove all of the biomechanical aspects of a subluxation while maintaining a consistent and specific line of drive every time. The headpiece also allows us, instead of us I guess positioning ourselves around the patient, you know, like what you do in full spine like that. We actually can position the patient how we would like so that we can maintain a consistent doctor stance every time. So So this allows us to be more specific and consistent with our adjustments. I'm going to show you an adjustment here in a second, but just so, I think Ryan talked about it briefly before, but if any of you guys don't know, we're not an adjusting technique. So we're just a system of analysis, so you can pair our system of analysis with whatever adjusting technique you like. We do have our own way to adjust, but it's not required. And it's kind of just like a modified toggle. And like I said, you're probably going to have that stance 95% out of the adjustments, what you're going to see here. All right, so this is Dr. Galgano. He's actually the lead Pierce doctor currently. That's Lauren. You don't have to flare your arms out like that. It's pretty flashy. All right. We also implement instrument adjusting. This is the Pulsar Precision Adjuster. It's a computerized adjuster. We can use these along with or as an alternative to hand adjusting. So this allows us to vary the force that we put into an adjustment. For example, if an elderly patient with osteoporosis walks in the door, or a small child, you're going to want to give them a low force adjustment, right? But if a big stud muffin like Ryan walks into the door, you're going to want to lay the hammer and give it all you got, right?
That's right.
All right. So that was kind of it. So what I'm going to go over, these are more case stories rather than case studies. I actually shadowed Dr. Galgano over the 3-week break. And these are just a couple of stories that I got to hear when I was at his office and I got to meet these patients. So I figured I'd share the stories with you guys. All right. So this patient's only been in there for 3 weeks. As you can see, the structural change isn't great. But like I said, we're more focused on the motion, right? So the motion in this patient was restored. So this was a 56-year-old female. When she walked into the office, she was complaining of tingling, burning pain down both of her arms, all the way to her fingertips. She said that every time she touched something, it felt like fire. She couldn't even shake anyone's hand when she walked into the office. When she had to fill out her paperwork, she had to wear winter gloves. Same thing with driving. She couldn't touch the steering wheel without winter gloves. She couldn't touch anything, pretty much. The saddest part is she had 2 grandchildren that she couldn't even touch. And she's been dealing with this problem for years. When she initially got this problem, she went to her primary care physician, who referred her to a neurologist, who referred her to a psychologist, because they said it was all in her head. I think that was their way of saying they didn't know what the cause of the problem was. Can we agree with that?
Yeah.
So she came into Dr. Galgano's office, and I met her 3 weeks later. It was her 3-week reevaluation. And she said that all of the burning sensation in her arms were gone. She still had slight tingling left in her hand. She said it was 80% better. She didn't have to wear gloves to drive. She could touch her grandchildren now. I went in there before knowing that she had these problems, reached out to shake her hand. But she actually, with no hesitation, she shook my hand. So it was a pretty incredible story. I think we can all agree that her life was changed, right, by chiropractic, more specifically the Pierce Results System. All right, case number 2. So this was her post from 3 weeks later, but she actually has been coming into the office for a while, but I just wanted to keep it consistent and get the 3-week x-ray each time. Okay. So I first met this lady right after she got adjusted. She was the happiest lady. You would have never known what I'm about to tell you if you just met this lady. So she was a 44-year-old female. When she initially came into the office, she was on a cane. Dr. Galgano said she literally looked like a 90-degree angle walking around. She said her back pain was so excruciating that she hadn't been able to walk for 8 years. She was 44, so you do the math. She's been on a cane since she was 36. That's no way to live. So she had been to multiple chiropractors before without any relief, and she actually told me that she was on the verge of committing suicide. She had the whole suicide planned out. Then she heard about Dr. Galgano, so she figured she'd give it a try. She went in there. After 1 week, she was off the cane, and after 3 weeks, all of her back pain had subsided. So I guess it's one thing to hear about these types of stories when you go to a seminar or something, and it's a little bit different when you actually meet the person who tells you that he saved their life. It gives you it takes away all of your, I guess, doubts about becoming a chiropractor by hearing a story like this. Because I want to be that chiropractor that a student shadowing and the patient tells that student that I saved their life. I couldn't think of a better way to begin my journey in chiropractic than with the Pierce Results System. So let me leave you guys with this. Let's raise the standard of chiropractic together. To me, this is the gold standard. If you guys agree with me, don't hesitate and dive in head first. Use your time at school wisely and find what resonates with you and stick to it. And if this is it, then welcome to the Pierce Results family. Thank you.
Okay, guys, I got a couple announcements. Hopefully I learned how to talk since last time I was up here. All right, for the CERT test, the requirements, you have to attend 2 any-level seminars, and then you have to have 2 quarters of club with missing no more than 1 club attendance or club meetings. The price to take the CERT test is $50. It's usually $25 to register for a seat, and then $25 the day of the sit for it. I don't know the next time I'm going to offer it. It'll be probably sometime next quarter. I just offered it actually yesterday. 4 people sitting for it. So if you guys have any questions about the requirements again, just come up, feel free to talk to me anytime. We actually made a recent change. It used to be you had to have level 1 certification to get in some of the Pierce Docs offices to shadow them. We actually just made a changement to that this past break. We don't want to exclude anyone, especially if you're still on the edge and you actually want to see the doc practice. So any person, regardless of your level of certification or if you have none at all, you can call up the docs once you get to know them or whatever. Get in their offices. I highly encourage it. It'll be a great learning experience. So we don't want to exclude anyone from that. So it's an awesome opportunity to get in there and hear some of the stories that you hear. I've had a chance to shadow multiple docs, and it's really an awesome experience. So we have an advanced club, which taking the CERT test, that gives you the opportunity to attend. Advanced club, we're actually implementing a new entrance exam for the advanced club, which will take place, I believe. Clinton said 6:30 today. Not exactly sure where he is, but he's responsible for that. He's in the back. Okay.
He's leaving right now.
He's right there. But yeah, that entrance exam to attend advanced club will be at 6:30 today, right?
Yeah, or just immediately following this. So if you're level 1 certified and want to attend the advanced club, then you qualify to sit for that certification.
Okay, I have a couple more announcements before we break away though.
Entrance exam.
Alright, for Club Flow, normally we're going to have a short philosophy starting at 5 o'clock. And after that philosophy, then we're going to have the main lecture. We'll have any announcements too before the philosophy. And we'll do the main lecture, and then we'll do a breakout after the main lecture's over. Club dues, they're $25. And if it's your first time paying club dues, you get a t-shirt. Brandon, can you stand up for me? So that's included. That's the t-shirt that we get. So it's an awesome pose. So if it's your first time playing club dues, you get that shirt. Anytime after that, you get some kind of personalized gift that we'll have. Making sure I'm not missing any announcements. We also have like mentor groups. So if you want a chance to get in with some of the older people that's been in club a while and kind of learn more from them, it's a more personalized thing. Speak to Lauren. Lauren, can you? Yep. Just talk to her. If you guys want to, even if you want to get a chance to get under Pierce care for yourself and experience it from another student, talk to her. She'll kind of get you situated with that. And then a couple last things. There's going to be a council meeting following right after we break away from here. So be ready for that. And then all the new people, can you raise your hands again? All right, awesome. You guys are gonna, as soon as I'm done here, you're gonna meet with Connor. Connor's standing in the back, and yep, he's just gonna go talk to you about a few things. So
It's going to be a 5-minute thing.
yeah, it's real quick. That's all the announcements I have. Did I miss anything?
I think you're good, man. Thank you. So yeah, if you're a council member, please stick around, or if you want to be on council, please stick around. Anyone is open to join council, even if it's your first time here. If you want to be involved with council and you know you like it that much, please stick around. Everyone else who's first time at share, go follow Connor, and then everyone else can leave. Thank you guys for coming.
Thank you guys.